we can't say enough, Senator, for you being here. We're able to take a boat tour this morning up here in the River Bluff subdivision and get a first-hand view of how it's affecting those people's lives. And certainly the governor was here last week. Mike, Colonel here, State Police have just been awesome. I'm not going to try and start thanking everyone because I know I'll leave somebody out, but I don't think we've asked for a single thing that we haven't received. So that just means so much in a time of crisis, just being able to send in the paperwork and it's here, and that makes such a difference. We have been fighting this for going on 2 weeks. The good news is the river is crested, we believe, and so the immediate people up on the river bluff that have been affected, they pretty well know where they are. Now we've got to focus and shift our resources south as the water continues to rise down that way and keep up with what's happening, and certainly we hope it doesn't reach the level of any evacuations, but we've been in the fight, we're going to stay in the fight, but I just can't say enough about everyone's chipping in, the police jury in the city as well, make up our EOC here in Bossier City, and this has been our really first disaster, I guess you would call it, and I think we're doing a fine job, and it's not just us, it's the people out there that have been working 24/7 to make this happen, so we appreciate it.
Really struck by two things. First, on the negative side, the enormous significance of this event and the human toll and the human impact. A lot of people are comparing this to 1990, but as you know, the river stage is higher than 1990, the highest since 1945, and you really understand the impact when you go around to flooded neighborhoods and see flooded infrastructure. Really is very, very significant in Caddo and Bossier and will be downriver as well. What I was hit over the head with in a positive way is the enormous response here on the ground. Everyone working their hearts out, working 24/7 for days, and working very effectively together. And so I really want to compliment and thank on behalf of citizens, local leadership, first responders, state and federal agencies that have been a big part of that, and it's worked really well. We just saw how well it worked. I was able to sit in on the daily briefing here at this emergency response headquarters, and the reporting and the working together was seamless. And again, I really want to thank and compliment all of that leadership, all of those first responders. A lot of folks here have concerns about what will be done with locks and dams north of here. The Colonel's latest report to us is that that should not negatively affect Shreveport, Bossier, and other points in Louisiana in any way. So there's overtopping of some of those facilities right now, which we can't stop until the water goes down. But there is no plan, and there should be no plan, to prematurely open any of those structures and prematurely allow more water down here. A few days, perhaps starting on Friday, there'll be state and federal assessment teams on the ground doing damage assessment. Part of the reason that isn't happening now is they need to have the water recede a little bit and get the full scope of impact, including south of here where the crest has not occurred yet. Part of the reason that isn't happening now is they need to have the water recede a little bit and get the full scope of impact, including south of here where the crest has not occurred yet, to do an appropriate damage assessment. As soon as that can be done, perhaps starting Friday, GOSEP at the state level, working with FEMA at the federal level, and others like SBA, USDA are going to be on the ground doing that damage assessment. That assessment at the state level will determine whether the governor requests a federal disaster declaration from the president. Based on what I've seen today, I'm certainly guessing that's going to happen. And so that could happen the weekend or shortly thereafter. Not every category of federal help depends on that presidential declaration. So certainly we'll be focused on all areas of appropriate federal help, whether there's a declaration or not, but certainly we'll be pushing for that declaration. Particularly focused on small business aspects of this, in part because I chair the Senate Small Business Committee. I talked with the administrator of the SBA specifically about this, and she has sent 2 high-ranking officials from the SBA who are with us today, and I really appreciate their being here along with the federal agencies to really, at the appropriate time, depending on declarations, etc., we're going to have all the relevant information about appropriate federal help available on our website, vitter.senate.gov, G-O-V, vitter.senate.gov. It's not there now because the declaration isn't there and these things have not kicked in. It will be there the minute that's done, the minute that's appropriate.
We've got a lot of work to do to open navigation. Senator Vitter highlighted that. It's one of my big concerns now as the crest starts to move downriver. We'll start having impacts along all of our locks and dams as they go through. All the lock gates are open. All the dam gates are open and water's flowing through. They have been for quite some time. However, the locks are closed to navigation all the way down to lock number 2, which we think will close in the next 24 to 48 hours. We're trying to keep that lock open as long as possible to enable some commerce, but at some point we have to shut it down for safety reasons because it'll damage the gates. A quick summary, it's the Red River is tied together in a flood control structure, so it's very well studied, and there's lakes upriver from here, as most of you know, going all the way back to Lake Texcoma, north of Dallas, which is a pretty sizable lake. We've got 2 lakes along that system that are overtopping. That one and Sardis, which is in Oklahoma. And what that means is they're over 100% capacity, and that water's going over the spillway. And if you've ever been out to one of our dams or something, you've seen a spillway off to the side, which is lower than the height of the normal dam, and that's designed to keep the dam from failing, to keep it safe. So that water goes over the top of that, and it's uncontrolled, is what we call that. That will continue to happen for several more days until that water level comes down, and then those dams will hold the water at a current level based on gauges downriver to prevent any further flooding downriver. But right now we've got 2 that are overtopping, one in Oklahoma and one in Texas.
First off, I guess just to compliment Bossier and Caddo Emergency Operations Centers for doing a fantastic job, and all the first responders that have been involved in this. Louisiana National Guard is on station, has been since we really started the flood of the Red River. I guess my message to you is we will be here until it's finished.